To start us off, here's a little history about DNA. In 1935, DNA was discovered by a scientist named Andrei Nikolaevich Belozersky. The idea of creating a genetically modified organism started in 1973, when a grad student at Stanford University Medical School developed a man-made DNA. In 1994, the first genetically modified tomato was sold, which had a longer shelf life than that of a conventional tomato. Towards the late 1900s, the market for genetically modified crops expanded rapidly as people began to accept this new technology. Since then, the market for genetically modified plants has grown stronger, though recently there have been many controversies over the usefulness of these crops. In short, genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, are microorganisms, plants, or animals with altered genes for the purpose of furthering scientific research or altering the food supply. Some common genetic modifications include addition of antibacterial genes, addition of genes that make an organism bigger, or even combining of plants and animal genes. Now that you have some background on genetically modified crops, I'm sure you're wondering exactly how these crops are modified and for what purpose. First, you isolate which gene you want to manipulate, for example, drought tolerance genes or insect resistance genes. Second, you insert the gene into a transfer vector using recombinant DNA techniques. Third, to transfer DNA, you use a technique called particle bombardment, where small particles coated with DNA molecules are bombarded into the cell. To make sure this modified cell reproduces, parts of the modified cell are spread throughout the plant, soaking up nutrients that induce development of the cells. This is how the cells are genetically modified. Afterwards, testing of the plant performance and safety testing are conducted in order to allow the GMO to be considered for commercial production. The technology of genetically modifying organisms can be linked to the big idea in biology that DNA is the genetic blueprint of life. Genes in the DNA determine the traits of an organism. DNA has a double helix structure with two strands running in opposite directions. The backbone of each strand consists of sugar molecules and phosphate groups. Each sugar molecule is also linked to one of the four possible bases: adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. The A bases always pair with the T, and G always pairs with the C. By changing the order in which the pairs are arranged, we can alter a cell's DNA. This technology shows that by altering certain genes, you can enhance certain organisms by giving them new traits. Genetically modified organisms are important and have a significant impact on modern-day biology because it has opened up new doors to solving problems such as food shortages. The genetic modification technology can be used to enhance humankind by making organisms disease-resistant, drought-tolerant, cold-tolerant, and pest-resistant. It can also improve food quality, make crops bigger, and increase crop yield with limited amount of land. It can also help farmers by allowing them to skip certain steps in the process of production, since processes like spraying pesticides are no longer necessary. Since fewer pesticides are used, some people claim this technology also benefits the environment. There are, however, drawbacks to this technology as well. It's been just over 20 years since this technology has been developed, and not enough testing of GMOs has been conducted. The long-term, possibly negative effects of this technology are not yet clear. Another disadvantage to GMOs is allergic reactions. Since there are added substances that were not part of the original plant, some humans may experience new allergic reactions. Some people also claim that when humans consume GMO foods that have added antibiotic features, these features remain in our bodies and reduce the efficiency of actual antibiotic medications. Another possible drawback is the gene transfer to non-targeted species. For example, if plants with added herbicide tolerance and weeds crossbreed, and the herbicide-resistant genes transfer from the crops to the weeds, the superweeds would be herbicide-tolerant as well as much harder to kill. Even so, still not enough is known about GMOs to address all these controversial opinions. These problems will be solved over time as long-term effects of GMOs are observed. Here's a real-world example of genetically modified organisms. On January 23rd, an article titled "Fish Oil Could Soon Come from GM Crop" was featured on The Guardian. The article talked about the possible plan to grow a genetically modified plant that produced seeds packed with fish oils. 7 genes were taken from fish oil-producing algae and transplanted into camelina, which are oilseed plants. Elena Paul, the director of a campaign group called GM Freeze, stated that GM camelina would bring forth a new problem of needing additional land for feed for animals. Approval of the plan may inevitably lead to protests by people who are against GM crops. Still, the proponents of this plan are listing numerous benefits of the plan. Because 80% of fish oil harvested from the ocean every year is used to feed other fish being raised in aquaculture, many fish stocks are being overexploited. Thus, the researchers think that this genetically modified fish oil will provide feed for farmed fish and benefit the overfished ocean. Also, fish oil is a popular food supplement that can cut the risk of cardiovascular disease. Thus, this GM camelina, which can be used as a health supplement for humans, will benefit humans as well. This was just a brief introduction into the world of genetically modified organisms. To read more, visit the sites on your screen.